Anodos, you never saw such a little creature before, did you?
No, said I, and indeed I hardly believe I do now.
That is always the way with you men. You believe nothing the first time, and it is foolish enough to let mere repetition convince you of what you consider in itself unbelievable. I'm not going to argue with you, however, but to grant you a wish. Here, I could not help interrupting her with the foolish speech, of which, however, I had no cause to repent. How can such a very little creature as you grant or refuse anything? Is that all the philosophy you have gained in 21 years? Said she. Form is much, but size is nothing. It is a mere matter of relation. I suppose your 6-foot lordship does not feel altogether insignificant, though to others you do look small beside your old Uncle Ralph, who rises above you a great half-foot at least. But size is of so little consequence with old me, that I may as well accommodate myself to your foolish prejudices. So saying, she leaped from the desk upon the floor, where she stood, a tall, gracious lady with pale face and large blue eyes. Her dark hair flowed behind, wavy but uncurled, down to her waist, and against it her form stood clear in its robe of white. Now, said she, you will believe me. Overcome with the presence of a beauty which I could now perceive, and drawn towards her by an attraction irresistible, alas, incomprehensible, I suppose I stretched out my arms towards her, for she drew back a step or two and said, Foolish boy, if you could touch me, I should hurt you. Besides, I was 237 years old last Midsummer Eve, and a man must not fall in love with his grandmother, you know. But you're not my grandmother, said I. How do you know that? She retorted. I dare say you know something of your great-grandfather is a good deal further back than that, but you know very little about your great-grandmothers on either side. Now, to the point. Your little sister was reading a fairy tale to you last night. She was. When she had finished, she said, as she closed the book, Is there a fairy country, brother? And you replied with a sigh, I suppose there is, if one could find the way into it. I did, but I meant something quite different from what you seem to think. Never mind what I seem to think. You shall find the way into fairyland tomorrow. Now, look in my eyes. Eagerly I did so. They filled me with an unknown longing. I remembered somehow that my mother died when I was a baby. I looked deeper and deeper till they spread around me like seas, and I sank in their waters. I forgot all the rest till I found myself at the window, whose gloomy curtains were withdrawn, and where I stood gazing on a whole heaven of stars, small and sparkling in the moonlight. Below lay a sea, still as death and hoary in the moon, sweeping into bays and around capes and islands, away, away, I knew not whither. Alas, it was no sea, but a low bog burnished by the moon. Surely there is such a sea somewhere, said I to myself. A low, sweet voice beside me replied, In fairyland, Anodo. truth of the lady's promise, that this day I should discover the road into fairyland.